my name's Anne. I just moved in with my grandparents because, well, my parents hate me. Oh, and I betrayed my best friend. And now, I just don't know what to do. Well, let me tell you my story. Maybe you can help me decide. Last spring break, my parents were crazy busy with work. We ended up staying in the city instead of flying out to visit my grandparents. Then the best thing happened. My BFF's parents were called away for some urgent family business. They left my best friend Ellie and Bobby, her younger brother with their older sister, Michelle. Michelle was in her mid-20s. She pretty much let Elle and me do whatever we wanted in the house, and that was a blast. Kind of a surprise, but we were actually enjoying this kind of spring break. Making TikTok videos, sneaking into Michelle's room and trying on her clothes, watching whatever videos and movies we wanted. My parents let me sleep over at her place almost 4 nights a week. It was just so much fun. Oh, and as for Bobby, I'm not sure what he was up to most of the time. I barely saw him. I guess he was enjoying playing his favorite video games non-stop without anybody telling him off. Just sometimes he'd come down to the kitchen to get another bowl of Cocoa Puffs. He was so obsessed with them. Refused to eat anything else. Not the healthiest, but it made life for Elle and Mitchell pretty easy. They didn't have to think about what to feed him. One morning, my parents suggested I invite Elle over, and some other girlfriends who also ended up staying in town. They said we could all go together to buy whatever snacks we wanted, and they'd give us some money for pizza. And my mom said that they were going out with friends and they would probably be out for the whole night.
Oh my. Me? Hosting a somewhat real party? My first party ever? My parents are very private, and for whatever reason, they never let me invite anybody to stay over for like more than an hour.
And the golden rule, either my mom or dad has to be present in the house to supervise.
So, you get it, right? This was huge. Almost all my classmates already had a big sleepover party or a real party, except me.
So it took me approximately 2 seconds to jump up and rush to send messages and call my friends. Elle was super excited for me, and obviously, Michelle let her go. My parents were glowing, ready for their own party, all dressed up. I couldn't resist taking a photo of them. They left, and I had the best sleepover party ever. We had tons of chips, chocolate, and cookies, a bunch of pizzas, and ice cream. We danced, we sang, we ate, we took photos, we told stories, we shared secrets. It was perfect. We all woke up to a delicious smell. Hotcakes! I went downstairs to see that my awesome parents had made us hotcakes with fruit salad. I was so happy, all smiling and grinning, but when I saw my mom's face, my smile vanished. She had a big bruise on her cheek. Mom, what happened to your cheek? Oh, yes, sweetie, never mind. I just slipped on the dance floor last night. Clumsy me.
Oh, believe me, she was the star of the show.
Oh, wow. I had no idea my parents could dance. After the delicious breakfast, my friends got picked up and Elle just walked back to her house. She lived like 1 street over. Her parents were coming home that evening, so Elle had to help Michelle and Bobby clean up the whole house. That sucks. Me and my parents went to the park for a picnic. My dad was in his typical happy mood.
Family day, no phones.
So I had to leave my phone at home. He got back late, happy and tired from all that badminton and cycling. When I checked my phone, I saw like 20 missed calls from Elle. That was super unusual, obviously. I called her back. Elle, hi, sorry, I left my phone at home. What's going on? Are you crying? I was so shocked to hear what she told me next. When she got back in the morning, Michelle was out in the front yard, scared and nervous. She was waiting for the police. So Michelle also went out last night. When she got back this morning, she saw that the glass table in the hallway was shattered into like 1,000,000 pieces. She thought Bobby probably did it and didn't bother to clean it up, but he wasn't in his room. She checked everywhere, but he was really gone. and his room was trashed. The police went door to door asking about Bobby, so did Elle and Michelle. Nobody saw or heard anything. It was so sad, so weird. 2 or 3 days passed with no information about Bobby. Elle's mom looked like she never stopped crying and never slept anymore. Elle was always sad, I just didn't know what to do. Cheer her up or just be sad with her. One morning, I got up kind of late. My parents were already gone by the time I got down for breakfast. I wanted cornflakes and opened the kitchen cabinet. I froze. There were 2 boxes of Cocoa Puffs. The same exact Cocoa Puffs that Bobby was obsessed with. That's weird, but normal? Maybe they were on sale or something. I mean, coincidences happen all the time. Still, I felt a chill. I had a million questions, but I managed to brush them off. In the evening, I asked my parents. We never have Cocoa Puffs anymore, not since primary school. Nostalgia? Really? Primary school? I don't know, I just saw them in the shop and they spoke to me, you know? Yeah, I guess. You know, Bobby was obsessed with them. Every time I see the box, I think of him and Elle's family. I still can't believe it. Oh, really? He was obsessed with puffs? Wow, I didn't know.
Let's put them away if they make you sad.
Typical dad response. Later that week, I went over to Elle's house. School was starting in a few days, and we had loads of homework. We were in her room trying to concentrate. I needed a sharpener, and Elle said I could get one from Bobby's room. It was the first time I was in there since he disappeared, or maybe even ever. It was weird to be in that room, all neat and tidy. I don't know why, but I went near his bed to look at the toy soldiers he had on his bedside table. That's when I noticed a tiny blue ring hanging on the rifle of one of the soldiers. I picked it up. It looked so familiar. My heart started to race. I took my phone out, scrolled my photos. The photo of my parents the night before Bobby disappeared. Mom was wearing a black blouse with a small flower made of tiny blue rings. Tiny blue rings! I rushed back to Elle's room. Hey, Elle, gotta go. Got a message from Mom. Sorry, talk to you later? I ran straight for my parents' room. Luckily, they were out. I went through my mom's wardrobe, but I didn't find the blouse. My brain felt like it was on fire. Should I confront Mom and Dad? Call the police? Tell Elle? What if I'm way wrong? Or worse, what if I'm right? What if I've totally lost it? At some point, I realized that the only way to deal with this without hurting anyone was to check my parents' phones or to find more clues, evidence, or whatever you want to call it. That night, I got into their room while they were asleep. I took Mom's phone from her nightstand. I went through it, nothing unusual, except one thing. She had a note. A. Done. BB waiting. See you. May 15th. BB. Wait. Bobby? Or some medical procedure Mom was waiting for? I put her phone back, but I didn't have the courage to go through Dad's phone. The next morning, I tried to act casual. Oh, hey, Mom, there was a call from some clinic. They left a message. Your BB procedure can be scheduled for next week if you want. BB? Are you sure you got it right? That's weird. I never called any clinic. BB? What could it possibly be? Right at that moment, my dad came out of the basement looking irritated. He had a fresh scratch on his arm.
Oh, hey there. Good morning. You're up early? Yay! I was down fixing the vent and I scratched my arm. Gotta call a specialist. Guess I'm not as handy as I thought.
Super suspicious, but also totally Dad. When they left for work, I rushed down into the basement. I bit down on my lip and turned on the light, expecting the worst. But everything looked normal. Like boring normal. Dusty boxes of old stuff. Bags of clothes my parents have been meaning to donate for years. I walked around, kicked some of the bags, didn't see anything. Just one thing. A drop of milk on the floor. Or it was something white and liquidy next to the washer. Detergent? I bent down a bit, and that's when I noticed a tiny space between the wall and the washing machine, as if it had been moved. I was surprised. The washer wasn't that heavy, it just slid over like it was on wheels. Right behind it was a tiny door. I opened it and saw a dim light, a mattress on the floor, and Bobby sleeping on it! I was shocked and scared, but mostly I couldn't believe what I saw. I was shaking. I couldn't bear another second down there, and I rushed back up. I closed the door for the basement. Okay, I was back in my kitchen, back to reality, back to my normal life where my parents weren't creeps who keep a kid holed up in the basement. I called my parents and yelled, "I know what you did!" and hung up on them. Should I call the police? They'd be arrested. They're my parents. What explanation could they possibly have? And what about Elle? And our friendship? I heard my parents' car coming up the drive. The next second, they were in front of me, horrified. "Hi, sweetie, what's wrong? You sounded upset." Upset? Well, can someone explain why Bobby is laying in our basement? They looked nervously at each other. "Please let us explain. Just calm down, all right?" said my mom. "It's not what it looks like. I mean, well, it is. It's just what we do. It's our job. I mean, we get paid to do our job. I mean, how do you think we pay for all this? We get orders and we do our job. Bobby was adopted, you know? He's not even their real kid, and now we're helping his real parents get him back." Believe it or not, I spent another 4 days fighting with them, but mostly with myself. It felt like I was in a long, never-ending nightmare. They kept ambushing me, trying to assure me that they're not bad people, just doing their part to keep me and my future secure. I went back and forth believing them and not. I know they were doing something wrong, but then they're my parents, who were never bad to me, who were always so loving and nice. My world was shattered. I avoided Elle at all costs. I stopped eating, stopped sleeping, and on top of that, I had to go to school and pretend that everything was fine. One morning, I bumped into Elle in the hallway. She was crying, her eyes looked empty. She saw me and started walking towards me. That was it. Something snapped inside my brain, or heart, or whatever. I ran outside, called the police. I think my parents kidnapped my best friend's brother. I gave them the address and rushed home to meet them. Bobby was saved. My parents were arrested. They told me that I don't love them, and I'm not their daughter anymore, and that they never want to see me again. Elle was sure I was in on it with my parents. And well, I kinda was for those 4 days. She couldn't forgive me. My grandparents agreed to be my legal guardians till I turn 18. And now I don't know what to do with my life. Should I visit my parents in prison and try to reconnect with them? Should I try and get Elle to forgive me, or at least talk to me? Should I try and move on with my life? But, I mean, how?